Hey guys, welcome to the Creative Arena. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a visual page progress tracker that becomes visible as you scroll down and also disappears when you get to the top. And mind you, it is responsive on all devices, and we are able to achieve this without the use of any additional plugin or line of CSS code, basically with Elementor Future. And I'm going to walk you step by step on how to achieve it. So at the end of this tutorial, we're going to create something that looks like this. As you can see, we are at the top of the page, and now when we start scrolling, our tracker becomes visible, and we see the progress growing and growing and growing until we get to the bottom. And now when we click on this, it takes us to the top, as you can see. And when we start scrolling, we get to this point, you can see. And also it takes us back to the top. So without further delay, let's dive in and get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this effect to our Elementor header. The reason for that is so that it takes effect on all the pages. But if you want it to happen on a particular page, you can just add it to that particular page. Same principle, we're going to apply here that you can apply on that and it will work perfectly. So I'll click on this plus icon here, select the flexible container, select the structure here, come over to add element, and then I'll search for the icon widget. Then I'll click on the icon widget, come over here, set it to stack, go to the style option, and let's tweak it a little bit. For the primary color, we're just going to set it to light blue. Secondary color, I'm going to set it to main blue. Like this, we'll have this design here. For the size, I'm going to set the size to 30 pixel. And also, I'll go back here to the content and select an icon. So I'll search for the arrow icon. You can use whatever icon you want for the purpose of this. Okay, so I'm just going to use the arrow up. So we'll have something like that. Then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go to the advanced settings, come down here to where we'll have the position, and I'll set the position to fix. Okay, we can see now the icon is now fixed here. Now we're going to direct the icon and place it at the bottom here. Okay, so now for that, I'll set the horizontal orientation to the right. For the vertical orientation, I'm going to set it to the bottom. So we now have it placed here. However, it doesn't look nice placed here. You can see it's too close to the scroll bar and too close to the bottom. So we're going to move it a little bit to the top and a little bit away from the scroll bar. So to do so, I'm just going to come over here. For the horizontal orientation, I'm going to give it a value of 25 pixels, so it's now away from the scroll bar. And then for the vertical orientation offset, I'll give it a value of 45 pixels, and it's now away from the bottom. We now have space like that. This is perfectly placed. You can still adjust yours however you want to suit whatever you're working on. Okay, so now that I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'll come over here to the Z index and give it the Z index value of 999. This makes it stay above every element on the website. Okay, now I'm going to go back here to the content. For the link, I'm going to give it a link of hashtag go to top. Now we're just going to copy this text here, this go to top text here. Then I'll come over to this header template, go to the advanced settings, come over here to the CSS ID and give it the value of go to top. Now what this does is whenever this button is clicked, it's going to take us to the top of our page. Wherever it is on the website, this button is on the website, it's going to take you to the header top. Okay, now you could use the anchor menu to do this, but it's more easier to just do this simple CSS ID method. Okay, so the next thing I'll do here, I'll come over, click on the add element and search for the progress tracker. So I'll just click on this progress tracker here. Okay, now I'll come over here to the tracker type and set it to circular. Now for the progress relative to, I'll leave it at entire page. For the direction, I'm going to set it to the right. Go to the style option and let's tweak it a little bit. Now for the tracker size, I'm going to give it a value of 75 pixel. Now on the progress tracker indicator, now this is what we are talking about. This green we see here, we're going to change the color to main blue. So we'll now have it like that. Now the tracker width, we're going to increase it to 15 pixel like this. So we'll now have it as big as that. Okay, now that is pretty much it about the styling we're going to do for the progress tracker. Now what I'm going to do next is I'll go to the advanced settings, come over here to the position and set the position to fixed as well. So we can see it's now fixed to the top here. For the horizontal orientation, we're going to set it to the right. The goal is to bring it here. Okay, and then the vertical orientation, we're going to set it to the bottom. So we've now brought it here. However, you can see that it is placed here. Okay, so now if you're facing this particular situation or this particular issue here, not to worry. Now what I'm going to do here is for the horizontal orientation offset, I'm going to set the value to 17 pixel. And then for the vertical orientation offset, I'm going to set the value to 43 pixel. You can also set your value to however you want to suit your placement and make it perfect on your web page. So you can see now that it is placed here rather than here. Now the reason for that is just simple. Okay, if you're expressing this when you put all these values like this, all you just need to do is to come over here, still on the progress tracker, go over here to be able to have the width, and then set it to custom, and you can see it's just going to place it right exactly where we want it to be. Don't add any value here. Okay, so you now have it placed like this. So now when you scroll down, you see your effect taking place perfectly like this. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is we're just going to come over here and click on the publish. Okay, and come over here and let's see it on our web page. Okay, so we can see it placed here. Now when we scroll, you can see the progress growing. Now there is one particular step I mixed and I'm going to correct that. You can see here now that we now have an issue here. This one is at the top, however the progress tracker is obstructed by this particular image here. So now let's go back to fix that. Under the progress tracker, we're going to come over here, and then for the Z index, we're going to give it the value of 99. Remember, we'll give the icon the value of 999. Now the Z index for the progress, we're going to give it 999. So it's above every other element on the website except the icon widget. So we're just going to click on publish. And then we'll come over here and refresh this page. Now you can see it is now above this every other element, and it looks perfect. Okay, when you get to the bottom, it's filled up. When you click on to the top, it takes you to the top. Okay, so now I'm going to add another advanced effect to this to stylize it and make it look a little bit professional. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over here to design. Then what I'll do is I'll come over to the icon, go to the advanced settings, come over here to have the motion effect. Now for the scrolling effect, I'm going to toggle this, come down to the transparency, select it. Now leave the direction to fade in the level, leave it at 10%. For the viewport, you come over here. For the bottom, you drag it to 0, and then for the top, you bring it down to 10%. Perfect. Now you come over to the progress tracker and repeat the same process. Go to the motion effect, come over here to the scroll, and then come over to the transparency, and then set the viewport to the bottom 0 and also 10% for the top, like that. Perfect. Now the next thing you're going to do is remember that Elementor container by default has space around it. So in order to avoid creating an additional space on your header, all you just need to do is to come over to the container housing these two icon and progress tracker widget. You go to the advanced settings. For the margin, you set it to 0. For the padding, you set it to 0. So there is no space added to our header. Now we're going to click on publish, and then come over here and we'll refresh. We're going to see everything now aligns well, and you can see here that the icon is no longer showing. However, when you start scrolling, you're going to see it come up like that, and when you go to the top, it's going to disappear. You see, this is a mind-blowing effect that you can add without the use of any line of CSS code or additional plot. Just basic Elementor widget effect, and then when you click on this, it takes you to the top and it disappears. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you've learned something new from this tutorial. If you enjoy what you've seen and you've learned something, please remember to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified first when I drop a new video. And feel free to drop your comment wherever you're confused or have any suggestions, and I'll do well to attend to as much as I can. But until then, see you on our next video. Bye bye.